Hey everyone, Tina here, and in this quick walkthrough, I'm going to show you how our AI-powered SEO metadata writer and Google Submitter works. So if you've ever manually written meta titles, descriptions, and keywords for dozens or even hundreds of WordPress pages or posts, you know how tedious and error-prone that can get, right? Not to mention pushing those updates into WordPress and making sure Google actually sees them. That's a whole separate headache. That's exactly why we built this automation right here. So this workflow does 4 key things. First, it pulls your published pages and posts from WordPress. Then it scrapes the real page content, not just the title, and uses an AI-trained in SEO best practices to write your meta title, description, and focus keywords. It actually updates that metadata directly into WordPress using the RankMath API plugin. And finally, it instantly submits the updated page or post to Google via the indexing API, so your changes are recognized fast. It's all triggered via Airtable, so all you have to do is flip a checkbox and let the automation run. No more copy pasting, no more waiting on Google to crawl your site weeks later, and no more guessing if your metadata is actually optimized. All right, so let's dive in and I'll walk you through the process. The first thing you needed to do is to set up your Airtable your SEO project tracker via Airtable. All right, so you're gonna have this particular columns right here, site, and all these ones. So this is the user, the password of your WordPress site, and basically every time you needed to run this, the only thing that you needed to do is to update the status to ready to run, and then hit this checkbox, right? So there are automations that you needed. There's this particular script or automation that you needed to integrate for the webhook to fire. Okay, so basically, it all starts from a webhook through this Airtable, right? Now, you can download this JSON file and the RankMath API plugin from our school classroom. So what you needed to do is to go over our school and then hover over to the classroom side and find this particular class, okay? And then you're gonna wanna go over to the SEO agents and then hover over to the SEO meta tag writer and Google Instant Indexing. Now, I outlined in here, and it's pretty straightforward how you need it and what are the prerequisites that you need. Basically, you need to set up your Airtable and then add the automation. Here's the script that you needed in order for the webhook to fire, right? The next one is to set up your RankMath plugin, and I've already attached this file. So there are 2 ways you can do this, right? You go onto your server and then simply upload this plugin, which is attached right here, right? The third is to, these are just the credentials that you needed to make sure that they are added onto your n8n, and these are outside of n8n that you needed to set up before you even run the n8n. Otherwise, if you don't, they're not gonna work. All right, so you gotta set this up, enable the Google Indexing API, and make sure that your site is also verified through Google search. So these are all outside of n8n, which is Airtable, the RankMath plugin, the Google Indexing API, and the Google search. All right. Once you've set that up, what you needed to do is to download the JSON file, which is also attached onto this classroom. And you're just going to want to go hover over to your n8n, create a new workflow, and then just import from file. and you're gonna get workflow like this. All right. So again, all of this are pretty straightforward. There are credentials that obviously you needed to set up, like the Airtable, to connect it to your n8n, and all of this are explained how you can set that up from the classroom. There is a section in the classroom where it says quick start, and you can pretty much follow all this process on how to set them up or create your credentials. So basically those are the only things you needed. Those are the only thing that you needed, apart from adding your Claude credential as well. And this are also discussed on the classroom. All right, so how does that work? First, when you go onto your website, and let's take a look. So if you are, for example, let's say for example you are trying to we're trying to hang on. Okay, hang on. I can't spell. There. Okay, so this is basically your website that you'd like to update the post. The posts are right here, all your blog goes right here, and your pages goes right here, right? So we wanted to update all the metadata title, which is, say for example, if I go over here, all I wanted to do is update this metadata title right here, this one, automatically, right? You don't want to do that one by one. You want to let the automation do that for you. Okay, now again, the important thing is to make sure that you've set up all the 4 key prerequisites, and what you would want to do is just hit run right here when you're ready to get the automator to run. Okay, so now once I click this box, the moment that I do that and I go back to my n8n, go back to my executions, you're going to see that it's running right here, right? Probably going to take 2 minutes to run, 2 to 3 minutes to run for a post, depending on how many pages you have, right? Once it's done, it's going to come back. You need to come back to your Airtable, and it's going to have a done, and that's it. You're ready. The only thing though is that for rank math, for you to be able to see whether the updater or the AI agent did its job, is to make sure that you open up your post or pages, and then you would want to click this part, and you're going to see that it's going to give you a title. It's going to suggest a keyword. It can suggest, you can have the n8n suggest 3 keywords, but I only wanted 1 right, for my purpose. So what I can do is just weight loss. If I add 1 more, or you can have that automated as well, then pretty much you're just gonna hit save, and that's it. All right, so let's go back. Okay, it's still running. Pretty much it's probably gonna take you 1 more minute to run per post if you have less than 10 pages. Okay, let me pause, and then I'll come back when it's done. All right, as you can see, it ran for 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Now, what you would want to do is just take a look if it's all checked. There are 17 or 16 posts that got updated. And so if I hover over to this node where it says update rank math SEO metadata, it's just going to give me you know, whether it's unchanged if I have updated this for quite a while, then it's going to tell me that it's unchanged and some are updated or keywords, you know. But you can go over them one by one if you want. And then pretty straightforward. If it's a post, it's going to submit it to your Google indexing, and it's going to give you more or less what are the pages that got submitted by Google. This is an indication that Google have accepted it or has been notified that there is an update. All right, that's it. Now I'm going to give you a tip. If for some reason you stumble upon some issue or error and you don't know how to fix it, the best way to do or to go is to go to ChatGPT and then look for this GPT, on your Explorer, because this one helps a lot in terms of explaining if you ever hit a bump. All right, so pretty much, say for example, I would, so what you can do is just ask for, say, what you would want to do is just do a screenshot or upload the JSON file. Okay, normally I would just upload the JSON file, something like this. I'm gonna say you are an expert in helping in providing step-by-step instructions on setting up my JSON in n8n. Here is the JSON that I need to set up. Can you help me node per node what to do? So basically you're just gonna say that, right? And then I'm gonna give you more of what you needed to do right here. So your webhook, and then it just explains to you what each node that you needed to set up. Like if I go back right here, or here, pretty much everything is set up in here, right? The only thing though that you needed to set up on some are, hang on. Yeah, so if there's anything that you couldn't figure out, ChatGPT, this particular GPT, and GPT Explorer is very good in helping out with how you could set up each node. All right. If you have any questions or needed help setting this up, let me know. All right, just contact us or send me a message and I'll try and be able to help. Or we also have a done for you setup, so you can also take advantage of that. All right, thank you and have a good day.